has public meetings, and they decide policy. They decide build the nature center, build the Willis Park and Species Survival Center, build this, build that, don't build that, don't build that. A long time ago, this was a city dump. The board said, let's make a green space, let's buy it, and it was the first riverfront property before the moonwalk to provide access to the river. Great project, we love it. We wouldn't have built it.
So why the shift now?
But let me finish. There's no shift.
Yep.
No shift. Look, let me finish my story. So we built this and we love it. Over the years, in the beginning, a lot of people used this, and there were drugs up here, there were burglaries up here, there were issues dealing with how the thing was being used. At that time, the Carrollton and North came to us and said, we put baseball fields in. We said, public meeting, public debate, sure, makes sense. Went on for 2 or 3 years discussion. We built baseball fields. George Hospital said, can we build a miracle field for handicapped kids? We push the wheelchairs and hit balls. We built it. It's packed with kids in it. So there was a balance between open space and recreation space. Now soccer starts growing. The demand for soccer in this city is all-time high, and a lot of kids.
City Park is ginormous.
Okay, but I'm just trying to share with that. We can just agree. That's fine.
Well, where does sports fit into your
$500,000. So then what we said was that let's study the idea of soccer growing and how on this side and I think the numbers, and I don't want to be quoted to account the exact number, that there would always be 75% open space, green open space, and 25% recreation space. You're taping me, so I want to make sure I'll get the exact number, but I don't want to read, he said this, and it's 82% or 68%, or, yeah, I know how it works with blogging. So anyway, the point was, we said we could balance the two. We're adding 400 acres in East right now, with the nature preserve, with trails all over the place. We'll talk about the wetlands, and we're building on the West Bank a facility called the Wilderness Park. We love open space.
This is
the last of it. This is the last of it.
Yeah.
Could you not at least hear a board that says you could have both? Why can't you provide for young kids?
But we do, because the whole question I have is we pay taxes to the Audubon Institute for the very wonderful things you guys do with the aquarium and all that. But hold on, we pay for all this. But the whole thing is that you guys are doing a great job with the zoo, with the aquarium, with the wilderness, your mission. How exactly has your mission expanded to sports when sports is a mission of NORD and things like that? Because if you could focus on your end of it and let us handle our recreational space how we feel it should be used, which obviously is not as a locked out sports field. When we have those elsewhere, that would be great.
First of all, the mission statement of the Audubon Commission deals with open space and recreation.
Okay.
That's part of our mission.
Will the little kids still have a park to play in?
Well, of course they are. Where's a whole new playgrounds being built out here? Access all the time for kids.
So
Did you see, Ron?
To see the closed access?
Yeah, the signs that say this is not for your use except for,
Yeah, you're talking about the baseball fields, the miracle field.
Anything that Carrollton Boosters has.
By daytime, every Nord kid comes, they practice there. These soccer fields are all open, they can stay open.
So people are saying they've been told by Carrollton Boosters that they can't rent the field. No, it's not available, even though it stays empty.
That's right.
And there are signs elsewhere.
I'll give you, anyone, I think you have a leader here, I'll give you the contract. The contract that they have to sign says public access at all times. The only thing that will not have public access, all the fields will have public access. Like right now, anybody can play if they want to.
But excuse me, you can only play there. You cannot have a crawfish boil, a family party, or anything like you can here. It's not the same thing.
If 75% is open space and 25% is recreation space.
No, the recreation.
Where is the recreation?
This is recreation.
This is recreation.
But no, that's sports. That's different.
And this is going to be sports.
17.
We got 10,000.
Does it tell you anything about how important this place is to these people?
I agree.
To a lot of
How
people.
do you address that by changing it and turning it into a pay-for-use?
It's not.
You
got to stick with the facts.
Please, no, don't give me the crap.
This is public land, though.
I'll tell you exactly here. I can be here to tell you the facts.
Apparently, we missed the public comment period. Mr. Forman did say there was one, and it was 2 years ago.
But as you're an unelected body, though,
Or as
you have no
reasonable as
accountability to us because you can ignore the comments for individual
We
life.
cannot
I
contact
wouldn't
them.
come here right now on a Sunday, knowing that you're having an event.
Well, you can come here all day, though, because we can't kick you out of office tomorrow.
Can we step
The
back?
point is, I don't have to be here right now. I came here because I love the fly too. I'm from New Orleans. I went to Fort J, Maine. I've been up here from the city dump. I know where you're coming from. You know where the passion should go if you really want a passion? Let's go buy the property, the Beso property right next to the Fly, which is available for sale right
Like,
now.
so you can turn it into a theme park?
Ron, turn that into the Carrollton Boosters.
That's nice. Take this park.
Get rid of that.
I don't think you can
Turn
take
the
this
Beso
park
thing into the Carrollton Boosters.
it's our park. You know, I don't think it's
Wait,
gonna
Mr.
happen.
Foreman was speaking, and now everybody's jumping in. You were talking about 25% and 75%.
75% remaining open space.
Can that be sort of guaranteed? I mean,
That's kind of something we should
because
talk
right now there's a piece of paper that shows that it's going to be overflow parking.
That's a good
and-
conversation about it.
But how can we have the conversation when we cannot contact Audubon Institute members? You go online looking for Audubon Institute members, you look for your email address, there is no contact information.
We have over
And if
100,000
you have,
members.
but how do we contact the Audubon Institute
We have a board of
Commission?
directors.
Where's the
Yeah,
mechanism
no,
for accountability
no.
to the taxpayers, the use
They're
of the
not
park?
online.
If
Show
you-
me
if-
where they are.
Let's start off. Send it to email or Forman at audubon.org.
Where?
Or Forman, audubon.org. And
Right.
we'll give you the address for the board of directors. It's fine.
Okay,
The
because
process
it's
is
nowhere online to do that.
Have you Googled Audubon agency?
Yes, I have. I've Googled it many
In
times.
good
If you
faith, why
Google
don't you
it, maybe
establish
you need
public
to.
hearings for us?
Was that?
In good faith, why don't you establish
We
public hearings so we
actually
can all
I
come
think there is a meeting
and
coming up.
well, everybody's very interested in giving
I
comments.
mean, there's another
Yeah.
hearing that we can
And
I think there's a meeting, and I may not. I don't want to misquote. I was told there might be a meeting Wednesday.
Wednesday. Yes.
Yeah, you're authorized by state law to put things up to vote for the residents, too. So why not put this up to a vote on an election?
Mr. Foreman, you're holding the map in your hand. Can you show us what?
Where the
what is-
25% are going to be?
What happens? Baseball field and this field. This comes down.
Why?
They play because.
And the trees too.
Yeah, and this right here.
Wait.
Okay.
Over $400,000 in new trees are being planted. The guy who planted oak trees all along St. Charles Avenue is the chair of that, and he's good shape of trees.
So in 60 years, we'll have trees like this again.
I know.
But until then, we
Look,
won't.
Where's the rest of
I'm just telling you, asked me a question.
Well, I
I'm
know,
trying to
but
answer
don't
the
give us an
question.
answer that you know we're better than.
We
So,
would
I mean,
like to
come
know,
on.
I wanted to know, since I don't know who put these together, I'd like to know if you could take a look at it and tell me if it's accurate. Because we're all upset by what we see on this piece of paper, and I'd like to know if it's accurate.
So is it this whole area?
No,
And
the
does
whole,
it go all the way down there to
the fly is about 50 acres. Goes all the way to one end to the other. I think the number, I said, be careful with the number, I think 25% would be for recreation, 75% for open space. Anybody, all times, anytime.
Is this facility over here considered an open space?
The playground, yes.
Yeah.
Playground is open.
Is the railroad track considered open
The
space?
area with the fence around it.
Is that
No,
open
seriously.
parking lot?
From the levee to the river, from one end to the other is what we
Will
call,
this
y'all
be
call the
fenced
fly.
right now?
Where
Where we're
Yeah.
standing, will this be fenced off?
This will be gone. There'll be a stadium here.
These fields all along here will not be fenced.
No.
The hard surface, the green surface, will have a low fence. Yeah, that
Right
will be
here will be
yeah,
fenced.
in this area here, there will be a fence.
Is it a low fence like that low fence?
It's lower.
No.
Is it gonna be filled with advertising like Chop Shop and stuff
Yeah,
like that up there?
probably. That's how Nord raises money for their sports.
But this isn't Nord.
This is a Nord program.
No, Carrollton Boosters isn't Nord.
Private entity. Mr.
No, I
Foreman,
have
as this
a
falls so
question.
far outside of your
I have a question.
mission-
Why not building the stadium where the existing fields are?
Because a number of reasons. One is we need both the practice fields. I don't need it. Recreation.
Well, we don't
says
need
they
it either. That's the whole thing.
Recreation says they need it. They show the 6,000 kids they use. It's growing. The fastest growing sport right now is soccer in the city of New Orleans. So they're going to keep the fields, and that'll be just like they are right now. The only field that will have a fence. The playground will not have a fence on it. A new pavilion and bathrooms, which is open to the public all the time, will not have a fence around it. This road comes out in between, becomes green space in between. And then the practice field goes here. The green field goes here. That's what the plans are.
So eliminating parking?
There was
No, there will be more parking.
No, there'll be exactly the same amount of parking. The parking
On green space.
Well, but that's turning into green space. So.
But can I ask you a question, Mr. Forman? On this drawings, where do I see the 25% as opposed to the 75%?
If you go from this road right here.
On your map here.
That part is not on here.
Far.
It's not on here. Yeah.
He hasn't had a chance to really.
We're right here.
The
We're
road
right here.
that
Oh, sorry.
overlays.
We're right here. This is where you're
Then
building.
it will stop. If the map's not a very good map, but
See,
this is the map.
This is the only green strip here that's left. That's not 25%.
From you go from here all the way to the road on the other side. This is not on this map.
Yeah, because this is all planned for parking.
It
That's
says
not all
it's,
planned for parking.
it says it's overflow parking on the map, but maybe that's inaccurate.
It's to verify.
The parking you have that's coming away with this concrete here, the road's going to come away, and the parking that goes on that road will be replaced with other parking at the same number. There won't be more parking.
But what this says is for future expansion, like Audubon Zoo, there was something about an overpass, a walking path.
We will promise you the zoo will never be built over here.
I even have a restaurant.
I mean, if you want, if there's some things you would like us to commit to, like 75-25, or make sure the zoo doesn't expand.
It'd be great if there was some kind of written commitment to 25-75.
When I met with John Payne, he gave me a fact sheet from the Carrollton Booth office. And one of the things it said was that the field will be managed by the Carrollton Boosters. It will be available to other organizations when available for a fee. No one can use it for free.
That's right.
That was on their fact sheet.
There's three ways the fields are going to be used. One is for high school sports, those type of activities. The other is strictly NORD. And the third, when they're not being used by either one, is free access. If it's not scheduled for a game, you have to pay if you have a team coming for a game. If you're booking an event, you do pay a fee, and that pays the expenses for Carrollton to maintain the fields. But if no one's paying for a fee, like right now, no one's paying for a fee, I see kids out there kicking balls and doing things, and it's almost
Not a fence around.
There's no fence around.
But there will be. Can I ask you a question?
No, he's saying there will not.
You said right here there'll be a fence over
But
there.
he's saying the fields over there, there will not be.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this one question though, because
Right
this recreation component here falls so far outside of your constitutionally mandated mission. Hold on, let me finish.
You tell me what our mission is.
Well, you can tell me in a minute, but let me finish. It falls outside the mission of Audubon as a zoo and all that to improve it, and you've done great work with that. And the citizens are here saying that this city-owned property, they want the city to control again so that they can have input. Why not? You're saying the zoo will never expand over here. Why not give all this back to the city and relinquish control of it so that Nord and Parks and Parkways can own it?
Would you like us to give the whole park to the city?
Yes. But particularly, I want just the line here.
No, they don't give a penny to maintain Auburn Park.
We give pennies to maintain you, both as members of the zoo and as taxpayers.
That's your choice. You get
it
free,
is.
and you come free.
And
to
every
everything.
month you send me a letter saying you're dying for more money, and you tried to get us to pay more taxes last year, which means you need to get rid of some
He
things.
didn't. He's not the mayor.
Well, no, I'm talking about Audubon. Audubon does this. So the whole thing is, though, that if it's outside your thing, give it back to the citizens.
What you're saying, and nothing you're saying is something that I don't feel compassion for. You're right. Green space is wonderful. We wouldn't be building green space all over the city. We wouldn't be maintaining green space. We raise private money. Your membership goes to maintain property because we get zero from the city to maintain property. Look, as far as capital money, every improvement you see, every tree you see planted, comes from private money.
But see, here you have a green space that you do not have to build. That's been around forever. It's being used.
What do you tell the 10,000 kids that want to play soccer?
What do you tell the 10,000 kids that want to come here for
the city?
We could tell them there's this massive facility at City Park that's just for soccer.
Mr. Forman, you mentioned that soccer is the fastest growing. Golf is the fastest sinking sport, and this park has been losing over $500,000 a year. If you check your financial statements, check your statement. Over $5 million over the last 10 years through 2015. If you're losing that much money and we're putting up money and you're looking for the fastest growing sport to look for the fastest sinking, why don't we consider the real facts that you just brought up?
That's a very good consideration. Get rid of the golf course.
It's not a bad idea when you're losing that much money, is it?
That's a good.
Will there be a place for like the Hispanic guys that like to do a pickup game?
Let me just explain the losing money, not losing money. That if you take the direct receipts from golf and you take the direct expenses from golf, it doesn't make money.
It loses $500,000. That's
However, the
no
golf
business
course
can
maintains the entire from St. Charles to Magazine Street. The expenses.
I'm talking golf.
I'm talking about the whole park is maintained.
Right,
by
but that part loses money. You said
That's-
golf. No, you made a statement about soccer being the fastest growing sport.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's hard to talk. Look, guys. I gotta get to this. I came only because I think it's great, the process. I think I love you, the passion you have. I grew up. I've been doing this 44 years now, loving nature. I was raised to love nature. I love outdoors.
We love what you've done.
But you can balance the two. There's all right. If I got 10,000 on one side saying one thing, and I got a number on the other side saying one thing, you try to balance the two and say what works, what doesn't work. And you know what? I don't make the decision of what it is.
It was a fait accompli, and I think that was probably intentional.
What's that?
That before the decision was made on the plan, it was, I mean, before it became public, at the point at which it became public, it was already a fait accompli, and it was already like there's nothing that can be done about it.
I think that's
I will accept the responsibility that no one came to public meetings, but if people kept up with public meetings, they could have come and they would discuss, they were advertised the meetings, they were looking at the news. What's that?
He said it was in the Advocate and in the Times
Yeah,
Picayune.
but like online, is there a website?
Like go to Auburn Nature, go to Auburn Commission, and that's why when someone said the phone.
How many people in the Carrollton Boosters are on the Audubon Commission?
2 or 3.
Is there a conflict of interest there?
But first of all, there's 3 on. We have 3 boards. We have the commission appointed by the mayor, and the city council that verifies 24 members.
Why do we have 3 boards anyway?
What are the other 2 boards?
There's too much coming at him.
The Audited Age Institute was a public-private partnership. There was never enough money when the city ran the park. That's why the idea of giving it back to the city is ludicrous. I mean, you wouldn't cut the grass, you wouldn't have safety.
Exactly.
The park is what it is because of the private sector partnership. The Audited Age Institute is the second board. That's elected by the 100,000 members. The third board is the foundation. It raises capital money, it raises big money, and that's the big money people. Having said that, I think, and I may be wrong, I don't want to be misquoted, I think there may be 3 between the commission and HSU's foundation. Anybody who's on the board that has any vested interest has to declare at the meeting, recuse their vote. They can't vote on it, they can't debate it, they can't discuss it. On all 3 boards. We're very, if you have any interest in serving on the board of directors, then you got to dispose of it by that's your position. We'll see where it goes. All we're trying to do is balance 2 things. That I'm from New Orleans, I grew up in this neighborhood on Constant Street. I've become the fly since I've been I've become the park since I've been a kid. I hear what you're saying. What you're saying, I don't think anyone is saying anything but good. I would rather, though, get active in other ways, come to board meetings, come to events if you care so much about the park. And if you really want to do something good, let's raise money to buy another piece of property, which is right next to the fly when you come out.
Carrollton Boosters has money to buy it.
Yeah, why don't they buy it?
$4 million. Turn over control of this property to us. We'll buy it. That's a great idea.
Can I ask a question about the hill? You know how Monkey Hill is now part of the zoo, so you have to pay to go to Monkey Hill. There's a hill over there. Is that going to be part of the open space? Do you know?
He doesn't know about this. He's trying to see what you're talking about.
I know the hill.
Oh, you know.
I'm just trying to locate
He
it.
knows where the hill is. It's open.
I'm sorry.
That's higher than
I will. There's one small thing I think I can tell you, since I want to make sure I give you one good news that and you got my email address, Ron Forman. That email me. I'd say 9 out of 9 texts. The hill's going nowhere. It's just down this legacy.
You said something. I'm repeating it. You said 25%. And 75% open. Is there a way to lock that down where it's on paper and clarify that no overflow parking?
One of the things I'm going to take back to the board,
and
we have the grounds committee and all the committees that do, we got all these different members that spend a lot of their time and resources. I'm going to say several things came out. I came by to just say hi. Because I don't think we're enemies. I like the same thing you like. I think we can balance the two. So one of the good things that came out of it, I think, was the recommendation: can we have some kind of motion that deals with future expansion? That you have a commitment of 25 and 75, or you have some kind of
and clarify what that 75 is.
I think that's a good suggestion.
I
will check on the
down. Is it?
And the other thing is,
cement bathrooms too? Is it all the way down there? I mean,
It's to the
there's a
turn.
picture of that, and then
Turn.
it's going to stop at the road. Is that what it is?
It stops. I think, if I'm not right, I wouldn't be careful saying. I think all the fields you see around here stay what they are. I think there's some combination parking in these fields, but nothing changed with those fields. The only development is the playground, the bathroom. We have terrible bathrooms up here. Putting good bathrooms up here, a handicapped special needs playground, and a playground for all kids. Working with Children's Hospital, we're going to have a special program for special needs kids. Here, open to the public all the time. The only thing that will have a fence, will be the fence around the surface, because you don't want cars driving on it, or you don't want to get torn up in the middle of the night, someone doing wheelies on it. Nothing else will have any fences around it. And,
is there going to be some sort of restaurant built where the fly used to be? Was that ever discussed? Did we make this up? I don't know.
It's funny you said it.
Ron, I just want to clarify something, because I talked to John Payne as well. And again, I'm not opposed to a sports complex. I just think this is the wrong place for it. But John Payne told me, and he gave me a fact sheet that said, if anyone wants to use this space, they have to pay a fee to Carrollton Boosters, and Carrollton Boosters administrates that. And you told me something different, and I'm not saying.
My understanding.
That was on their fact sheet.
Yeah, we have an agreement, a draft of the agreement. In the agreement, I will get the exact language. I'll send it to you.
Okay, that would be great. Because
I want to make sure we clarify who's saying the same thing. We might disagree, or we might not agree completely, but I think there's some way we can work together and try and make it work. And I believe, I know, because I'm seeing it right now, these fields are always used only for gaming. If there's a game, organized game, they can reserve it, and that club or that organization pays the fee. If there's not an organized game, then it's open space. Go frisbees, to play baseball, to
fly a kite. Will there be still room enough to fly a kite on the fly on this side after?
If 75% is open space and 25% is recreation space, and most of the recreation space are open space like this, yeah.
So are you saying?
So is that road going to stay open?
Open space.
Is that road going to be filled in, or that's just
the road is that?
This is still going to be a sort of soccer field. The road will be closed.
No, that would not
one
be
way in.
That would be
Also, just one.
If you look at this plans, they're going to take over this. They have that. They have that. I don't see where the 75.
Well, that's why I said. Don't hold me for the number. But if you go, well, I don't measure.
Right.
Someone came with the idea. I'm trying to help the idea.
Yeah,
So go walk. The group go walk right now and go walk to the other end.
Oh, I know the other end.
And see the recreation going on there. That's where most of the kids hang out. That's where most of the flying and the ball touring.
Ron, if the goal is to serve efficient, to serve the will of the people, why don't you just let the people vote on it and say what they want?
And I could be wrong, but this is probably about 60%. That's about 40%.
No, we'll look at it. That's not true.
But there's something. But I don't see that being 75 and this being 20.
I don't care about the numbers. I just think that we agree that we up this taken from us. Is that an agreement here?
Let me
back up of the
clarify.
traffic getting into the what about the backup of the traffic getting into the park, like coming around the curve?
Between Henry Clay to Broadway's are
that's such a backup. What about the possibility of making
just Henry Clay to
What
Broadway?
about the possibility of making a two-way traffic?
90% of the time up
He
here,
wants
guys.
to talk about the possibility of two-way traffic.
I talk to one person at a time.
I think he has an
It's such a
interesting.
backup. I've worked right off magazine for 15 years, and it's such a backup of traffic. Ever since first of all, Whole Foods, that was the beginning of it all. Then just people trying to, people coming around the curve, and then people trying to turn into the zoo area and then get up to the fly. There should be like a right lane turning area, cars get so backed up there, and also just coming down Magazine. Also, there's a backup. What about the possibility of making another access way coming in from the rear, a two-way access, so you can have cars coming in, and maybe another access road coming down by the railroad.
We can look at all those things. Anytime anyone has any recommendation on anything, that's a good recommendation. We're looking at
because the
possibility.
Sometimes it's just I avoid the area completely. Sometimes on certain days and certain times.
This is what the facts are. So make sure the facts are. We built this for access to the river. We love open space. We built 4 or 5 other attractions of nature centers, wilderness on the West Bank. We build open space. That's who we are. That's our profession. But we combine recreation and open space together. And it's a balance that can work for both. Up here, if we go, we'll get the exact statistics, if I want to measure. But if it's 65-35 or 7, we'll come up with some agreement. So if that's one of the things you want, we'll talk about. Then we can only get 75% will always stay open space and 25. Yes. But we got a demand from Dawn and from kids at Children's Hospital to play soccer, recreation sport, and they have. Candidly, they have a lot more numbers, and it just frankly, if you want to deal with numbers, they got 6,000 families and 4 persons per family. So we try to balance the two. We hear you. I didn't come to fight. I came to listen, and we're going to come back and address some of the issues.
I want to say one thing.
The relationship between Carrollton Boosters and NOR, because you keep referring to it as NOR, which of course makes it sound like it's all warm and fuzzy and it's the public. But we're talking about Carrollton Boosters, which is a
Carrollton
private
Boosters is a support group for NOR
nonprofit.
programs.
It's a what?
It's a support group. They support and they raise the money. All over the city, you have booster groups that support the different playgrounds in different neighborhoods, and that's a combination between NOR and Carrollton. And they do a great job. If you look at the kids using
and that's wonderful, and recreation is wonderful, and nobody is against kids having places to play, but it just seems to me like this doesn't have to be the place.
And why does it have to be permanent? They can come up and play and then
City Park.
You know, what's wrong with the temporary fields? You know, my niece and nephew play out there, and you know they go out and play soccer, and then they're gone, and then you know the field's wide open. So why do you have to have a permanent fixture?
If you're going to ask the question about
Alternate sites.
how for alternate sites, would you ask? That we work with City Park, they work with City Park. There's games come back and forth with City Park. City Park has done a great job. They have a board of directors appointed by the state. We're appointed by the mayor and the city council. We believe in our mission that parks are for people. And the way parks are for people is a combination of recreation. Look at the zoo today. Yeah, the golf course, you're right. We always talk about golf course. The golf course, the numbers, what's that?
You have the golf course, you have the zoo, and now you want this out?
The golf course was there in 1898.
It was
I wasn't born yet.
It lost money.
That is true.
Okay, the golf course has been there a long time.
We were hoping it would go to a 9-hole
Is there
course
going to be
after
another
Katrina.
thing about
So what about Holly Grove?
the lounge was not supposed to be a restaurant, and then the next thing
And
you
then
know,
all of a sudden it's a restaurant? Yeah.
You guys, what's interesting in talking to the public is we really try to listen. So when people make statements that are full of half-truths, as if I know the facts and now you're going to do this and that, this is what I read. Yeah. Well, why don't you ask the question?
I tried the case, and he's right.
Ron,
To the Supreme Court.
technical question. Okay. Can we have the ground, whatever this becomes, to be able to absorb water, then make it run off to the river?
That's a very, very good point. All over
And
the park we're dealing with.
looks like the plan that we have heard about for making this into playgrounds was going to be artificial turf. I think that's a mistake.
No, that's one field. Everything else stays grass. The one playing field for all the high schools is an artificial turf, and they do that so they can schedule games and it doesn't get rained out. It stays muddy and.
I think it can be done differently, and the technology is there.
Private high schools, right?
Huh?
Newman, Sacred Heart,
All
Country
public
Day.
If you read the agreement, every single high school uses the baseball fields and will use this field. Every single high school and every single junior high school.
To read somewhere on the website or something.
Well, if you'll communicate with me, and I don't want to get 10 different, but give you someone to communicate with. We'll show you the agreement. The agreement, open access, scholarship to all kids, reaching out, going to schools and recruiting kids to come play. All that's part of the agreement. It's in writing that this is a public. What's that? Of course.
Well, I just don't. When I come to the games, I have to tell you this. When I come to the games, sometimes I just don't see a lot of diversity there.
You have to. When you see most of it, candidly, is at the baseball field.
One really quickie. I was on the grounds to watch a friend play soccer, and I went to set up a grill, and I was told by the people who run the Carrollton Boosters that I couldn't be on that side of the road.
On this side of the road?
No, I was like on the. You know how there's the field.
I don't know.
Is that okay for them to tell me that?
Sure. If you're on this side of the fence while a baseball game's going on, you want to barbecue, sure, why not?
No, I was where the fields where they're playing.
Did you go on the outfield?
I was where people were
If you're on the
setting up
outfield, they can
chairs.
tell you don't feel
People
the
were
outfield.
setting up chairs to watch the game, and I could have set up a chair, but I was told I couldn't have a grill. I just wondered why he could tell me that. I moved. I didn't stay there.
If there's a baseball game with a bunch of kids, candidly, common sense says if you got kids playing, you don't put a grill
I was like
on the field.
60 feet back from the edge, way back.
I don't know exactly. Guys,
I want to say one thing. I've been wanting to say this. You all created this wonderful space.
Keep it.
It's become sacred to the hearts of people way beyond New Orleans. People up in New England and the West, when they come here, a lot of them spend time here. And I don't think there's a comparable place between the mouth of the river and Baton Rouge. I don't think, does anybody know of a green space like this open to the public? So it's become sacred. So it's precious to keep a huge part of it.
And don't put a fence around it either.
Public. I mean, in green.
Don't put a fence around this area.
The only place, let me make clear, all this you see is not fenced. All the field is practice
Where we're
field.
standing would be fenced.
Part of where you're standing will be where the artificial turf will be, and it will be a fence to protect it so it doesn't get torn up. It's an expensive artificial turf.
You can't blame them for protecting the
The
investment.
pavilion, the public pavilion in Bass, to get out, to get out of the weather, is open to the public all the time. The playground for special needs kids are open to the public all the time. Everything wrapped around here.
This is the most
It's just
beautiful
one
place
field.
to see the river.
But
And it's
Ron,
gonna
but
be
you can see the
fenced
river
in.
over here.
But I mean,
Ron, I can tell you, Ron, I can tell you that if you talk to A Story, he will tell you about a technology where you can grow grass over a drainage system below it. It's a little more expensive, but if somebody raised $4 million, they can raise another $500,000 more to afford it.
I will check on that. Now,
And we
let me
could
mention
park on
too,
this grass like
when
they
you
do at the
read
zoo.
when you read the social media, people want to protect the donor. I've heard things. It's a Drew Brees private was used word, but also a sports complex. The only thing Drew Brees did,
Make a donation.
he made a donation. He's not making a development. He's not making a penny. He gave his money for recreation sports. So I just want to make sure he shouldn't be called a villain because he made a donation to the community.
Well, Carrollton, if Carrollton gets this project greenlighted, when will they stop asking for additional space? If Carrollton gets this field, which it appears they will, at what point will we stop Carrollton from taking over more land in the fly?
Maybe I would suggest maybe there's a way to specifically say open space.
That's
recreation
If
space.
they could agree to maybe to make this it, I think a lot of us would be a little more relaxed.
Yes,
but
it has to be
it
locked
appears to
down.
be encroaching
Perpetuity is
further and
best.
further.
I'll give you an
in.
example on the river.
Sacred space.
We built Waldenburg Riverfront Park. And of course, we were screaming and yelling that we were destroying Frenchburg because we're building a riverfront park, which is 7 million people a year to use. So we didn't destroy the world. That agreement, that's why I came up when you said the number, or you talking about commitments. There is a commitment.
You said the 2575.
Okay, but
yeah, I like that.
That's what I got. The commitment on the downtown Waldenburg Park is 75-25. So there's a precedent for that to be done.
We've got to maintain at least that.
In that context, it's been brought up before, we're using public space. We need to see an analysis of other alternatives that were looked at, why they were ruled out, and why this is the preferred.
Our answer, if you look at the map and look at where do you have space uptown, we've already dealt with City Park. City Park's building fields, they're building baseball fields. It's great. But everybody doesn't want to drive to City Park if you're
That's
uptown.
not that far. City Park's 15 minutes away.
They want to be able to pull right into the lot, have their kids play.
Why is this particular space within the
Yeah.
fly-in shows?
That's just convenient.
And
It's
could
built
you
back
park on this grass like they do at the
I can
zoo?
tell you, this is packed with kids using the fields, and I think there's a good balance between the two. Now, that's my opinion. I have a board. I don't make the final decision made by the board of directors. So they will make the final. But I will certainly comment to them. I'm here.
Tremendous analysis. We need to see that.
And the only reason I came was to hear you guys.
Didn't you know of an alternative location?
Yes, City Park actually.
Oh, but here, in the Audubon area, nearby Audubon.
All those people
Well,
park on the street.
Where's the acreage you want to build the soccer field?
The acreage as far as what makes sense best is in City Park, which is actually.
Sorry, City Park.
Hold on.
Has fields.
City Park does have fields. However, they have the majority of their fields. These are the fields they use. in the same agreement as we had with Carrollton with another group. These are the fields that are marked in their master plan to be put back into action. Hold on, from Katrina.
City Park.
But I know you don't do City Park, but I'm saying these fields are, that's all they can ever be is sports fields. They're waiting on a partner like Carrollton to come in and operate these. They're available for them. No one would lose anything if those go, because that's what they're there for. They're just unused now. So here we have a better selection of facilities that need someone like this, and a space that has plenty of green space left over, and that's all turned in.
Is there any place besides City Park you have?
It's close.
What about
It's
the
a condo.
Well, there's the Carrollton Boosters ball fields.
Holly Grove.
Yeah.
What about the Holly Grove
Yeah,
field?
the Holly Grove fields that Carrollton Boosters abandoned already.
That's where my kids played with Carrollton.
Yeah, that's where I grew up playing. What's wrong with
They're
that?
playing football there. They're playing.
No, they were playing baseball there.
They're playing football now.
Okay, well,
It's being used by recreation for another purpose.
but okay, by recreational, about Carrollton Boosters, because our whole thing is that they're a private organization. It's not the city's job or taxpayers to actually provide a place for a private organization to do things.
All they have is a cooperative agreement. They don't own the property.
Right.
There's a term to the property. They have to live up to the term, and then it stays ownership of the city of the commission.
Right.
So it's not they're not buying the land. I think it's either 7 or 10 years.
But they're getting use of the land that's publicly owned.
They've been doing it for 15 years.
When there is other land that is available to them, that is for that purpose.
I'm heading back to Mississippi. I'm meeting my wife for Valentine's dinner. Guys, I only came by to say hello, but I hear you.
And we appreciate what you've done.
But what you're
We're
saying is real. There's nothing
Take over the
you're
hot
saying.
scatter sites.
Yeah.
What's that?
I got a nice one. Actually, I don't have
What is unique about
Why
this?
don't you come to public meetings?
This piece.
Hey, this is the first time I've heard about this.
Really wasn't until this weekend most people heard, but
Guys, thank you.
Thank you.
You got my email.
What about the soccer fields in front of the zoo?
thanks.